Third, ask an open-ended question to learn more about what is behind their objection. For example, ask what their concerns are, specific examples, how they understand the process to work. Maybe it's based on some of their past experiences. Take notes on their answers so you can refer to them once you respond. And ask the right questions, because it's going to give you more details about their objection and allow you to overcome each point through you educating that person. So here's an example. Let's say that their objection is, I want to find a house to purchase prior to listing my house.
That never comes up at all, right?
No, that would never come up. Not at all. So what might you start with? Some questions on overcoming that objection. So you might say, well, Mr. Seller, what are your concerns about listing your home prior to finding a new home?
Right. We might also ask, have you had a negative past experience with listing your home first? So if they're bringing this objection to the table, we know a couple things. We know that they might be a little scared. Oh my gosh, I might have 2 mortgage payments. Mm-hmm. That one hasn't sold and I go buy this one. So we just have to put them at ease there, feed them back the question, and then we know we can handle that one.
Mm-hmm. And once you've got that clear understanding of why they're objecting, then it's time to use the information they provided to overcome their objection. And how do you do that? You just follow the steps on this piece of paper here.
Exactly.
Right. So to do that, respond to each area of concern or misunderstanding that's preventing them from moving forward. After you respond, ask for their agreement. That's the thing, 90% of salespeople don't do is actually ask for the order.
And that's huge right there, because it's human nature. And for the realtors or salespeople listening and watching right now, it's human nature that, I know the answer, I'm going to tell you real quick. As opposed to say, okay, let's take a deep breath. We know where we're going. Mm-hmm. Let me make them feel comfortable. Let me restate the objection back, and let's have a little bit of dialogue. We know where we're going to go to handle it.
Right.
We know.
Right, exactly. So if you don't get their agreement right there, then you've either missed something about the objection or your response didn't quite resolve their concern. So you need to ask more questions to uncover what you missed. Then continue to respond. Then continue to get their agreement. If you still don't have their agreement, then repeat until no objections remain. And then the only choice that person is going to have is to say, great, I'm in.
Exactly.
Let's sign. You've answered all of my fears. You've resolved them. Let's get started.
And a general question, and I know it's in our notes here in a page or two, our wonderful producer put it in there. And if a realtor, for those of you watching or listening right now, if you're ever struggling with, oh my gosh, I don't know that, what to do, use WMI. It stands for what's most important. So if you're ever struggling or anything with a buyer or a seller, then you could just take a deep breath and go, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let me just ask you a question. When you decide to choose a realtor to help you sell your house, what's most important to you when you make that decision? So that's a nice question, because it lets you take a deep breath back. It's kind of vague in general, and it lets them hone in on 1 or 2 or 3 things.
And it's going to show that. Oh, are you playing us back? You love it so much, Lisa. You're just playing the audio back here. No, it just came out from nowhere, huh? Okay. Are we still good over there?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, good.
Excellent.
So another thing, Todd, what it's going to do is show the person you're speaking with, presumably the house seller, that you're listening to them and that you actually understand their concerns. And they did a study, this is off topic, but they did a study about wait staff and their tips. And they found out that waiters and waitresses who used a pad of paper and wrote down orders earned more tips than somebody who's trying to show off and not write it down, just memorize it, because people are going to assume that they're going to screw something up because they're not writing down their order. And some of them felt offended that you're not writing this down.
And that's a great point, because how many times have all of us been at a restaurant or a happy hour or a brunch or something, and you got 8 or 10 people, you're going, wow, they're going to memorize everything? And undoubtedly something gets mixed up and they want to try.
Right.
Now on the restaurant topic, a week ago I heard, so this ties in amazingly, right? I mean, their job is to get people to stay, to buy more stuff, to tip well.
Right.
So this was a brew pub. All they had was beer, right? Mm-hmm. So the husband and the wife sit down, and the husband gets something. The wife goes to the restroom. She comes back. Now watch this kind of question. The staff comes over. Oh, can I get you anything to drink? That's not an open-ended question. That's a yes or no. So they're sitting there. oh, no, I'm okay right now. Well, they came in there to get something.
So the better question would have been, what could I get you to drink?
Correct, right? Because 10 minutes later, I glance over there, husband and wife were gone. The restaurant loses out on that money because they simply didn't make them feel comfortable and ask the right questions.
Right. Yeah. You never want to ask a yes or no question.
Right.
Make it open-ended so somebody has to actually speak. So why don't we demonstrate? Can we do we have time, Lisa, for a little role play?
Let's do that. Can you be the realtor, and I'll throw you the objection, if that sounds good?
Perfect. So I'm the real estate professional, and I'm saying, Todd, let's go ahead and list your house today. Are you ready to sign here? Let's go.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking about it, and I'm not far off, but here's a question. I've done some homework. I watched the news, and I kind of like to just wait for the market to improve.
Okay, so what you want to obtain is a better market. You want the market to improve a little bit from here.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So how long are you going to wait for that? When is the market going to improve?
Good question. I don't know. Hopefully soon. I guess it's anyone's guess, but I don't know.
Well, that's exactly right, because I don't have a crystal ball handy, and you probably don't either. And who knows if the market's going to improve or not. Are you trying to get a better price for your house?
Correct. We want the most money so we can make that next move.
Oh, okay. So if I can show you that you're going to get the most amount of money for your house right now, and it's going to take care of your existing mortgage, and it's going to give you the cash out that you need, are you ready to proceed today?
Yes, I'm open to that discussion, and if we can do that, yes, I'm in.
Well, let's look at these numbers then.
Great.
So there we go. So we restated the question, we heard the objection, and we provided a solution to that.
And I want to say to everybody watching and listening, as we go through this, make it yours. Make it competent, confident, and natural. In other words, you could take a script just like a great actor. Why do some actors get $15 million a movie? Some actors get $200,000. You never see them again. Why? They all have to memorize the script. Some made it more believable than the others. Some made it to where, wow, you're really right there. The only difference between what they get paid is can they become those words. And guess what? If we're real estate agents like you and I were, this topic is not an option, by the way. If you want to dominate and get incredible, this topic is not an option.
And for those of you listening, Todd and I weren't looking at a script there. We didn't write that out. This was actually live, true, so it sounded legitimate, hopefully, because it was just coming out of our heads.
Exactly.
So let's break down some of the top objections that real estate agents hear and what might be really behind them. I know we're running along on time, but we'll get through this. Objection 1, I want to wait for the market to improve. So we just talked about that. Most of the time, that means that the sellers don't really care about what the market is. They just want to make sure they get enough money for their home.
And on that topic, another great sentence to maybe throw in if somebody does want to wait for the market to improve, to say, certainly, if I was in your situation, I'd probably want to do the same thing. Because you're only doing that for one reason. Hopefully, it's going to get better.
Right.
Here's my question. What if it gets worse? What if in 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, it gets worse and we look back and I'm disappointed because I wasn't strong enough with you to get you to make a decision that would make you a lot more money?
If you knew if things were getting better or worse, you could play the stock market and not have to deal with real estate.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, second objection, especially if you're dealing with for sale by owners or expireds, bring me a buyer and then we can talk. All right, well, it's easy to say. So that normally means that the seller doesn't have a real good grasp of the home selling process. So how can you overcome that objection? What if you were to ask if what they are intending is for you to bring a buyer over without that buyer ever seeing or looking at the house first? Does that make sense to that buyer? Why would anybody do that? They probably wouldn't, right?
Exactly.
So explain the process of marketing and finding the right buyer for their home. And if you do it effectively, they'll understand, gee, it doesn't make sense to just say, okay, bring a buyer over. You need a little bit more than that.
Exactly. And the truth is that we're going to bring a buyer over to our listings that are priced right and motivated. That's where we're going to bring the buyer to, not to a house that's a maybe. Oh my gosh, if we did this, then they might do all these things for us. That's a waste of time. So we need to exactly explain the process, get them on board, then we'll bring a ton of buyers for them.
Objection 3, I'm too busy to talk right now. Hard to determine if they really don't have time or if they're just trying to blow you off. Lisa's words right there, exactly. So, ideas to overcome. ask if you can reach out at a predetermined future date and time. And of course, do the old, well, what time do you have in the future? Don't do that. Do you have Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or would Wednesday at 9 a.m. work better for you?
Exactly. And if they're coming with you with, I'm too busy to talk right now, obviously we feed that back to them. So if I heard you correctly, you're saying you're too busy to talk right now?
Too busy, yes. Way too
Okay.
busy.
All right. Why don't we do this then? In other words, do you still want to sell your house and make the most money in the shortest period of time?
Of course I do. Duh.
Great. Then why don't we do this then? I don't want to bother you. That's all I do is I take listings, I sell them, I help people make the most money in the shortest period of time. So give them a little takeaway here. Say when you're ready to hire the agent to help get your home sold, then give me a call or a message and we'll sit down and revisit, because this is not a 2-minute thing. This is, for some people, their biggest investments of their life. So we need to take some time to make sure we do this correctly.
And that's actually a great technique, because people fear loss much more than they would.
Right, the opportunity to gain.
Right, exactly. Opportunity to gain. Thank you. So the takeaway close is what that's called. Beautiful.
That's a fun one.
Objection 4, I'm going to sell my home myself. Then you respond and say, well, good luck with that. Maybe not. So what they mean is the seller is typically interested in saving a commission, right? Crazy sellers. Ideas to overcome this objection would be something like, okay, Mr. Seller, what's most important to you, making the most money on your home sale or selling it on your own or saving a commission? So based on how the seller answers that question, you should be able to respond and overcome this simple objection.
And the truth is, if somebody wants to sell their house on their own, right? In other words, there's no new objections. We talked about this. We need to educate them and share with them a couple things, right? So we need to build rapport. Mr. and Ms. Seller, if I was in the same boat as you without knowing anything, of course, I want to do the same thing and save all the money. Let me share a couple things with you. Number one, full brokerage real estate firms have been around for over 100 years. So if homeowners could really sell their house on their own and avoid the commission, wouldn't we have been out of business a long time ago?
Good point.
Number two, right? And we did a podcast on this, I think, months ago on the for sale by owner. But number two is this. Let's say we're buyers, right? The three of us, we're going to go out and buy, whether it's apartment complex, an amazing house. If we were going to overlook 95% of the homes on the market in the MLS with a real estate company and only go to the for sale by owners, what's our only objective in terms of doing that? One objective, try to save the money.
Right.
So you both can't save it, and then you have legal challenges. So the only people you're going to get to go there are the ones that are going to try to undercut you, and you're not going to save the money.
Right. So why resist? Just list. That was good.
Why resist?
That came out of my, wow, that was pretty good.
And
why resist? Just can we trademark that, Lisa? Let's,
I'm on it.
Okay, thank you.
See if the website's available.
All right.
Yep.
That was pretty good. All right. So bottom line regarding objections is that they should be embraced as a visible path to success. And a lot of the great successful salespeople look forward to objections because it tells them what the real objectives are of that seller. They can overcome those objections and then proceed to the listing.
Exactly. And I wrote down something fun here just because he was in town a few weeks ago for his birthday. But Floyd Wickman had a great sentence about this topic. He said, never tell somebody something you could show them. Speaking about objections. He said, never tell somebody you could show them because a picture is worth $1,000. So he always said include a visual. And he also said know how to overcome every objection 2 or 3 different ways. Why? If logic doesn't work, I go to emotion. If this doesn't work, we go to a different one. We will make it happen. If you're a committed, hungry agent and you can master this topic today, this will add a listing or 2 or 15 throughout the year.
Excellent. Well, that's everything you need to know about dealing with objections. How easy. You're pointing at me. I can't hear you.
Questions. Are you saying we have some questions?
See if anybody wants to maybe ask some questions on the air. And
Okay.
We are live,
Are we
right?
live?
You got to tell me if I shouldn't hit the music that quickly. Sorry. Oh.
Well,
All right.
I know I've already got some people raising their hands. So anybody who wants to get on live on the air with us and possibly win a $25 gift card, or if you have a question about the topic or something you want to share about the topic, any of those things, raise your hand right now, and let's get you on the air.
All right.
So anyone in our audience
let's-
that's interested in possibly winning a $25 gift card with Prospects Plus.
Ooh, Prospects Plus gift card.
Looks like our first question is coming in right
We
now.
have it right here.
They're typing.
All right.
Okay.
We'll
Nobody's
stand-
raising their hands yet. I just want to make sure before we go forward. Let's see.
Come on, we have a lot of time here to with nothing going on. So
Okay.
Hopefully we didn't scare anybody.
nope.
That's all right. We can go ahead and get ready for the next show. It looks like I did have a couple hands up, and then when I mentioned something, the hands went down.
Did they
So-
get? We just talked about managing your fears. Perhaps there's a fear of going live on the air, and Todd and I just wandered around, and here we are in front of microphones. So
And going live with us is fun
Right.
because we like to give away a lot of stuff. Books, gift
Exactly.
cards, fun things.
and even if you don't get the question right the first try, I mean, we'll give you a second question, maybe even a third question, and then we're going to let you phone a friend.
And
then
exactly, you can call home. And here's what's great about this. So I'm not going to be able to get back to everybody, but for those of you that want to send an email, I'm going to respond back to 10 of you. So the email is Todd, T-O-D-D, period, Robertson at ProspectsPLUS.com. What I'd like to hear from you is this, is just email what are the toughest objections you get hit with that you think have cost you 1 or 2 or 15 transactions a year, and what are the best ways you're overcoming it right now. So I'll get that email and I'll respond back to 10 of you, and I'll give you some strategy or our best strategy to help you get strong in that category.
nice, wonderful. That'd be very, very effective.
We could take a 2-minute break and get going with the next
Sounds good.
live show.
Well, can we close out this show first?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, all of our people online are just going to wait till the second show. The second topic is very good. Have we talked about what that is?
Well, it was in some of our on Facebook Live and our
Oh, okay.
email. We talked about it, but
Oh, the next one. The next one is really good. Real estate niches that make more money. So, if any of our, what do we have online? 53.
Well, between
Okay.
actually between
I think it's
Facebook
503.
Live, between Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and the people that have registered to be in our live audience today, it looks like it's over 100.
Oh, over 100.
If
Nice.
I add them all up, I would say I'm just watching the chats scrolling by. Yep.
We have people chatting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Chatting amongst themselves.
So if anybody wants to learn how to make more money, you might want to stick around for that. But we're going to wrap up our first show here, unless somebody raises their hand super quick.
Yep. Whoever did
And hit the button.
We're going to try this one more time here. Show close. Wait a minute. I just want to cut that because I want to cut it short when we're editing this part out. Okay, good. All right, so that is our show today on how to master the top objections in real estate, and we hope that that has been helpful for you. Don't forget to join us on our next live recording of our Take a Listing Today podcast. Go to our website, takealistingtoday.com, where you can sign up and you can ask questions of the experts when you are live with us.
Stay strong, stay powerful, and we'll talk to you in our next episode.
which is in about 5 minutes.
People.
All
All right. Yep. For those of you still with us, obviously you're still with us or else you wouldn't be hearing me. But we're going to start our next show in like 60 seconds. So don't go anywhere. And the topic, as we mentioned, real estate niches that make more money. You will just love it. I guarantee. Lisa, anything to add to that?
No, I'm just excited. We've got a lot of people on live with us right now between YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and
So I can actually go on Facebook right
people-
now and we're there?
Yep, the people that have clicked on us and registered to be here today as part of our live audience, hopefully we're going to have some people asking questions. I know people are hearing my voice like I'm the Great Oz and the Wizard of Oz, and you're not seeing me.
But there we are.
When we publish, you will see me. I'll be edited, and there's a camera on me.
See, I don't know if you can see that or not, but
Yeah.
we're actually live there.
We're live, and
Well, that's cool.
We've got people watching, and it's wonderful. So hopefully we'll have some questions during this show, or somebody will raise their hand at the end of the show and want to come on.
Oh, sorry.
Or somebody will raise their hand
See?
at the end of the show.
We're actually live.
And want to come on. And want to come on. Oh, he's
Let's
playing
turn
the
that off
audio of
there.
Facebook
Okay.
Live.
Sorry
and they'll
about
want to
that.
come on the show and try and win a $25 Prospects Plus gift card. We've got stacks of them. We just want to give them away.
We only brought one with us, but
Okay, but well.
we have stacks.
We
yes.
do have more. So we'd love to have you on the show to do that. Yeah, that's what.
And here comes from Bakersfield, California, Todd Robertson.
Whoa.
That's what happened during the first one, is that audio came on
Well,
Facebook.
1 month you went top
Is that
listing.
what
And
happened?
then YouTube, yeah.
1 month you went top listing, top overall associate. Oh, that's right. There were only 6 realtors at that point.
Oh, okay.
in
Well,
town. Yeah.
the other 5 were out of town, so
Right. So I had to work really hard, but at least I got an award.
All right. All right. So, are we ready over there?
We're ready.
You want to reset the clock, please?
I will do that, yeah.
Going live in 5.
We're going to be talking about niches. Off we
Right,
go.
You're good. You're good.
Welcome to the Take a Listing Today podcast, where our hosts Jim Studebaker and Todd Robertson give you strategies to get you out of the office right now so you can take a new listing today. And now, here's Jim and Todd.
Welcome back. Welcome. Podcast number 23 of Take a Listing Today. I'm Jim Studebaker. Todd Robertson is over there, and Lisa Gray over in the
Lisa
producer's
Gray in the
corner.
house.
There she
Got a
is.
lot going on behind the curtain today.
You do have a lot going on because now we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube, and we have people calling and they're holding.
We have
and
cameras different places.
It's a little intimidating in here actually, but we're going to have a great show for you today because we're going to talk about real estate niches that make more money. And I'll remind you that if you'd like to join us for our next live recording of our Take a Listing Today podcast, just go to our website, takealistingtoday.com, where you can sign up and ask questions of the experts or of Todd and I, whichever happens to show up that day. So, not really. We're the experts, right?
Exactly. And
All right.
as we're going through this subject here today, type questions in because at the very end we're going to take your questions and we'll spend as much time as you need on this. So type them in as we're going and we will make sure that we get to 100%, okay?
Wonderful. So let's talk about those real estate niches. So statistically, most of the highest revenue generating agents get that way by focusing on a specific niche market. And honestly, there are endless niches to pursue in real estate. However, some have proven to be more financially rewarding than others. So, do you want to go try 50 of them, or would you like to know the top 3 best niches? If so, don't turn off your recorder because we're going to talk about the top 3 right now.
And here's the mindset before we get into the top 3. So think about this. When we all got into real estate, right, we had a different perception. We had to learn all these different things. Well, think about this. The light bulb will light the room a little tiny bit. True?
Right.
So that's how most people get in. Oh my gosh, I got to do paperwork. I got to join this. I got to do that. Oh, I got to learn this. I got to go to training. The light bulb will light the room a little tiny bit. The laser will cut through steel. When you get a niche and own it and internalize it and get the best in your city, in your board of realtors, you can take over the world, let alone take over the listings.
Right. That is your focus. You're laser focused on that one thing.
Yeah.
And that's a great idea because now you're not scattered everywhere in 100 different places. You're laser focused. So, niche number 1, new home sales. One of the top producing agents in the country, Ben Caballero, sold $2.2 billion worth of homes in 2018. He, of course, had a team, and maybe he was in, California maybe, or something where home prices are very, very high. But they were all, of the $2.2 billion worth, they were all new home construction. So that's pretty cool. So this niche is very competitive. It may take a bit of education due to additional paperwork and different contracts that you have to deal with builders, but the pursuit will be worth it. A few other details to keep in mind if you're thinking of pursuing the new home sales niche. First of all, financing can be tricky for home buyers, so just have some alternatives for them. If the buyer doesn't have an agent, you may end up helping them with the purchase process, choosing a lot, a floor plan, and more. And some builders might require their agents to have a marketing plan, including tracking and lead follow-up, and for you to develop relationships with title reps and lenders. But honestly, shouldn't you have that anyway?
Exactly.
No matter what you're doing. So,
Yep.
so yeah, hopefully you're already there. If you're curious about working as a new home sales agent, check out some online job boards like Indeed.com and Monster.com and look up new construction job listings, and that will give you some ideas of people to get a hold of.
And I want to bring up a good point off topic. We had this conversation before at our directors meeting. Share with them what your niche was, and I'll share mine, because as we're going to share three, they might or might not have those where they are.
Right.
In other words, pick a niche. We're giving you some examples to get the wheels turning, but share with them yours, because I found that fascinating.
Yeah. So when I was in real estate, I focused on VA foreclosures, which were homes that the Veterans Administration had guaranteed for veterans, and for whatever reason, they stopped paying, and so the VA takes back the house, and now they own all of these homes, which they don't want to.
Right.
So they put it up for sale, and so I focused on selling just those homes. It was a great process. The VA provided financing for buyers, so it was really good, a really good niche market for me to be in at that time.
So you got in, you studied it, you owned it, you dominated it, you did it.
Yeah, exactly. How about you?
Yeah, and what was interesting is probably one reason you picked that, because that was there at the time. That was plentiful at the time. In other words, everyone listening or watching right now, decide what's in your market. Is it one of these three? For me, it was for sale by owners. Why? Because they were there.
Right.
There were a ton of for sale by owners, so we get together, boom, boom, boom. Here's what you need to know. I absorbed it. I became it. What happened? Listing after listing. Pretty soon, boom, number one listing, for sale by owners in there, just because of that niche, that focus.
Nice. And it may have been the same in your area, but for me, there weren't a lot of other agents dealing with foreclosures from the VA.
Right.
Which was helpful, because, I mean, it was a lot to learn, but when you're laser focused, okay, that's what I did. I learned everything there was to know about it and became a master at it.
That's a beautiful point, because here's the truth. In your city that you sell real estate in, everyone thinks, oh my God, there's 3,000 agents. There's 1,500 agents. Well, once you start to prospect every day and go on appointments, you realize whether it's one of these niches or a listing in general, there really is not much competition. You might have 15 or 25 agents that are playing at that level. The others are part-time, taking a deal now and again.
And part of that's mindset.
Correct.
Who cares if there's other agents around?
Right.
I'm the best.
Right.
Right.
And if I don't get to them, they're going to list with an untrained agent, and that will cost them a lot of money. It is mindset.
And I'm going to feel bad if they list with a lesser agent than myself.
Correct.
So I'm just doing them a favor, right?
Very strong.
So, niche number 2. Are you ready for it? Any guesses out there? Niche number 2 is luxury homes. Now, when talking about profitable niche markets, luxury home sales might be a no-brainer, but you've got to know how to focus on this niche and understand how to go about it. So first of all, you need to know who the audience is that's going to be purchasing homes or selling homes in the luxury home niche. You also want to know how to effectively reach this affluent audience through the right kind of marketing, which isn't done the same way as marketing to other real estate consumers. And finally, you want to consider choosing a niche within the luxury niche. So a niche within a niche. It might be to focus on luxury home owners who share common interests with you, work in certain industries where they have specific lifestyles, such as boaters or equestrians, plane owners, etc. Is there a term for plane owners? You know, horse lovers as equestrians. Do
Aviation.
We have one for plane owners?
Leaders?
Aviators? That's a good one. Aviators. Let's do that
Right.
one. Okay, perfect. So if you would like more information on how to succeed in the luxury market, you might want to go look up our podcast with Michael LaFido. That was very good. Michael LaFido is the luxury listing specialist, and he can provide a wealth of information in that podcast if you've not listened to it already.
And I want to elaborate on one thing on this topic. It's very fascinating, the luxury home market. Here's why. You and I know one thing. So fear and lack of courage prevents agents from prospecting. Well, this topic here, a lot of agents are intimidated by the luxury market. Oh my gosh, I live in a house like this. What am I going to go do? Watch, that's mindset. It's the same process, right? It might be more high-end marketing. It might be more you dressing more high-end, driving more high-end. But guess what? You have less competition if you decide to go after this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And niche number 3. Lisa, do we have any guesses? Are people just flooding the phone lines saying, I've got a guess for the niche?
Type in your questions. We will handle them all at the end.
Somebody is
Give me like
saying
the top 3.
Expired. One person is guessing expired,
expired.
Is the next niche. Let me see what else we've got here. Baby boomers. Another person guessed baby boomers.
All right. That's close.
That's about halfway.
Yep. Yep.
They won a half a buck.
Those are guesses so far.
All right. Well, niche number 3 is dealing with a specific generation. I was waiting to see if somebody would shut out, but no. So we currently have 4 generations of Americans who are most actively involved in buying and selling. The youngest is Gen Z, the oldest of which turned 23 this year. I guess we're not in that one, are we, Todd?
No,
okay. All right.
Even with the anti-aging.
We'll see. I did just miss that one. Yeah, just nearly missed it, yes. Right. So these people will soon be jumping into the real estate market. So if you start to market to them now, you might have an early in to these fine Gen Z folks.
Exactly. And this topic, and we're going to cover this topic, and for you listening and watching, I want you to write down something specific because you'll see as we go through this, you're going to have to sell to each of those a little bit differently because they're going to have different needs. They're going to have different fears and wants, So we want to find what is their wound. How can we help fill that or put a Band-Aid on that wound?
Exactly. So next generation, millennials, who are people aged between 24 and 42. We're nearly in that one, aren't we?
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, just about there, yeah. Yeah, on the young side of that. So there are approximately 83 million millennials in the U.S., which is a higher number than baby boomers. Guess we're getting to that. Millennials are currently the largest group of home buyers in the U.S. at 37%. Millennials boast average credit scores, even with student debt, and the older group purchase more expensive homes. So the next generation after Gen Z and after millennials is Gen X, which is age 43 to 54. That's not.
No, that's impossible for us to be in
right.
that category.
We're not there.
Our grandparents.
Right, exactly. So that's like So this is the perfect group for the savvy agent. Maybe if you're a savvy agent, you're in this Gen X, but not right.
Correct.
Okay, so in Gen X, those folks are in their peak earning years. Most are in need of larger homes and typically have a home to sell, and they have experience with real estate, so not as much hand-holding.
Yes. Now, I like that sentence right there, and here's what we're going to get if you're working that group as opposed to the millennials. This group, like you just said, they probably bought and sold a handful of homes throughout time. So they're going to be less fearful.
Right.
They're going to know the process. They're going to be okay with it. So the younger ones are going to have to sell differently too because it's going to be scary for them.
That's very true. Very true. The last of the 4 generations are the baby boomers, aged 55 to 73. So what if you're 80? Are you not in a group, Lisa? No? You're not categorized if you're that old. You don't need to be buying or selling houses if you're...
If you're 80, call us. We'll find you a great agent in your city.
We'll be nursing home.
No, I'm kidding.
All right. So baby boomers, many members of this group are still working and make up the nation's highest wage earners. Since National Association of Realtors show that the average agent is a woman in her 50s. So therefore, it may be an ideal niche to market to for many agents if you happen to be a woman in your 50s. And marketing is so much easier when you have something in common, which is very true.
Correct.
So, yeah. To learn more about marketing to a specific generation, how do you get into that? Well, you can go online and look at specific blog sites such as the Center for Generational Kinetics. Who knew there was even a place like that? Center for Generation. We're going to put some links in our things, right? Okay. The website keap.com and smallbiztrends.com. And Lisa will put links so that you can get to those to generate Oh, this is a great idea. If you want to generate a targeted mailing list of all these specific niche markets, the baby boomers, the Gen X's, Y's, Z's, etc., Prospects Plus has data that you can look up and focus these specific markets. So if you want to focus on one of those and target directly to those people, even narrow down, I only want to deal with homeowners or renters or what have you, you can do that.
Exactly. And as you're watching and listening right now, hopefully something resonated and hit home with you, right? Maybe it's the VA foreclosures. Maybe it's like somebody typed in expireds. Maybe it's for sale by owners. Maybe it's one of these three. Pick one. Pick something, right? You have something going on in your market that there's a lot of. Learn that, digest it, become it, and you will dominate because other people are afraid, and a lot of them lack courage. They want to sit behind a computer and wait for the walk-in traffic to come in.
Right. Or if that's your niche, then maybe that's your niche. You
Right,
wait for
right.
walk-in traffic. I mean, it's probably not a good one, but it's what they say. If you're a jack of all trades, you don't master anything. So,
Correct.
So be a master at something and make it successful. Focus on that like a laser, and you've got to be a success, right?
Correct. Do we have any questions you'd like us to
We actually do.
address?
We do.
We actually do. You sound surprised. Wow. All right.
I'm actually surprised that it happened so quickly, that there have been a couple hands up asking questions as you guys were speaking.
Got
I was
it.
waiting for a pause. This is good stuff.
Okay.
Good.
Well, here is the
So,
pause.
The first question is from Mary Ann. She states, as a 53-year-old woman, how do I sell to a millennial that I have nothing in common with?
All right, I'll start first and Jim can go. So I would say a couple things. I would say, in other words, you have your listing presentation. Your listing presentation has to be competent, confident, and natural as you're going through it. So the only thing I would change is as you're on the phone qualifying that person, you're going to ask them a series of questions, and you're going to find out what's most important to you when you pick a realtor to work with to buy a home. So it's going to be easy because you're just going to ask a couple questions. What's the most important? You're going to find out what it is, and you're just simply going to give them what they need and then go do what you do anyway, which is sell homes. You're just going to cater a little bit to them because their needs are a little bit different than the X, the baby boomers, boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I might walk in and say, as you can clearly see, I meet the average definition of a real estate agent according to NAR, so clearly I'm the best person around, right? No, but just show that you are competent, capable. You're going to meet their objectives in what they want to accomplish in selling a house, and there's no reason why any other agent would be better.
Exactly. And if they're going against an agent who might be a millennial agent, maybe that's their fear. Oh, wait a minute, they're going to connect more with a millennial agent. Well, you could overcome that objection as well and beat them like a wet rag, because what's the truth? What do you have that they don't? You have closings after closings after closings, testimonials after testimonials after testimonials. Maybe they have none. Maybe they have one or two.
Exactly.
So you're going to get the best of everything. We're going to help you get the house that you want for your price, and we're going to make that happen.
And, that millennial might be thinking, hey, I'm just starting out in life, and I don't know much about anything. I don't want to hire somebody who's like me. I want to hire somebody who knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
So that might be a
So that's a great question for a lot of reasons. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have actually one other question. It looks like it's from Jim Anders, and he's asking, how do I access the data that you were talking about? I think he was referring to when you were talking about Prospects Plus, the data. What does he actually have to do to get to that data?
Yeah, so very easy. Just go to ProspectsPLUS.com to the website, and on that main screen there, kind of over to the left-hand side, you'll see postcards, and there's two buttons that say, one says Start with a Template, one says Start with Your Mailing List. If you want to get there quick, just hit the button that says Start with Your Mailing List, and you'll see the options there. You want to go to the demographic search, and once you do that, it's going to ask you for the area. You can do it by zip code, or you can do it by addresses around a property, or you can do it by county. And once you specify that, then you get into your demographics, whether it be age or how long they've lived in a house, or a lot of information there that you can specify to get a targeted mailing list.
Awesome. And here's what I'd like to know from everybody watching or listening, and feel free to shoot me a text. My cell is a 702-683-1967. I'd like you to text two things. One is, what is your current niche right now? Because there are some superstar agents out there that have a niche. And number two, how many closings per year are you averaging dominating that niche? And In other words, that's a great thing to get a hold of as you have your other systems in place. So for those of you that shoot me that text, I will respond back, but I want you to process that. I want you to think that through. I want you to message that, because this is helping you build the winning system and help you dominate and close out this year strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't find don't find the phone number on bathroom walls now, right? Let's keep it professional here.
Yes, yes.
And Todd and I didn't call each other this morning, by the way. We just happened to show up with blue shirts on. So, Lisa, you didn't get the memo.
It just happens.
Blue shirt day. So, all right, that's fine. Anything else?
Oh, nope, that's it. It looks like I don't see anyone else raising their hand right now.
All right.
And the other questions, they just typed in. So
Okay.
everybody, I guess they don't need a gift card.
Outstanding.
All right. Well, then we're good here. So we appreciate you watching us for Take a Listing Today podcast. Hopefully you've learned everything you need to know about niche markets. Don't forget our podcast was conveniently sponsored by Prospects Plus. Go visit them for all of your marketing materials at prospectsplus.com, and visit our own website, takealistingtoday.com, where you can sign up for our next live recording, ask your questions of the experts, and maybe win some prizes.
Thank you for tuning in. Stay strong, stay powerful, and we'll talk to you next episode.